All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow. We have been gone for a couple weeks. It has been a interesting time, for all of us here at CFI. There's been a lot of different things going on. So tonight we're gonna be doing a little bit of a shorter show, um, but we got a lot to talk about. So we'll be going for about an hour tonight. First off, though, I want to start the show talking to a special young man who's playing for a special team this year in East Duplin. They are having a great season, and they're going to be playing in the championship game coming up on Saturday. Um, and you know, I really admire this young man. I loved watching this film. I think he is a little bit under recruited, and hopefully, as you get to know this young man, it'll help, kind of give him some additional exposure as well. The young man I'm talking about is Cade Kennedy, and he plays a lot of different positions for East Duke, and we're going to get to know him right now. So let's bring him on the show. Cade, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm amazing. I'm glad to be here. I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. We're glad to have you on here with us. So, first thing, man, time to talk about how this season has gone for you guys in East Duplin. It's been kind of a really special year, wouldn't you say?
I would say this season has been a absolute roller coaster. I mean, it's been a crazy season. Definitely one of the most challenging seasons in East Duplin's history. I mean, we've had to play Wallace Rosehill twice, James Keenan twice, Clinton, Whiteville, and we've done all of that as a two seed. So it's been a very challenging, but probably one of the best seasons I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely, man. As I was saying earlier in your introduction, I really love, seeing you film how you play a lot of different positions for these guys. Now you play offense and defense. What side of the ball is your favorite?
Um, I would say I love both equally. I mean, I just love to play the game. I just like to do whatever's best for my team, and I take 120 snaps if necessary. I can catch the ball, I can block, I can tackle, I can just do it all. Whatever's necessary for the team.
Absolutely, man. And that's reflected in your film for sure. As you said, you do a lot of different things. What do you feel like your strengths are as a football player?
I would just say my ability to fly around the field. I mean, just flying sideline to sideline and making plays. I think that is my absolute attribute as a player. That's 100%. Just being able to fly, and also my ability to block. That can't go unsaid. I mean, I'm a pretty good blocker too. So
Absolutely, I definitely agree on all counts there. So obviously you got a big game, championship
yes,
game.
sir.
You got any thoughts on that game? How do you feel going into Saturday?
I feel amazing. I feel really confident with this week's of practice, and it's important to note that these are completely two different teams, and the main thing for viewers is just to sit back and enjoy the show. Get your popcorn ready because it's gonna be a crazy one. They're a very spread team, and we're just completely different from that. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great, and I'm just glad for the opportunity to play for state.
Absolutely, man. That will be a lot of fun. I hope to catch a lot of that game. But we've got something going on Saturday that you signed up for. Our CFI Winter Showcase, where we have a ton of colleges coming by. Now, of course, you can't be there
Yes,
because you're playing in a really important game. But what
yes,
you did, I want to share with everybody. So,
yes, sir.
Cade reached out to us, and typically, when people can't, participate in our showcase, they always, ask for a refund, those kind of things. Cade donated his spot to another player who may not have the means, to pay the entrance fee and participate. And that's a very noble gesture. and that speaks a lot to your character, Cade. And I just want to say thank you, for doing something like that. You're helping, another kid out here,
Yes,
that
sir.
may not have been able to participate, and that is really really awesome. So,
Yes, sir.
man, I want to wish you and your teammates at East Duplin the best of luck on Saturday, and hope you guys go ahead and get that big ring, man.
Yes, sir. That's what we're looking for.
Absolutely, Cade. Thank you for coming on with us tonight. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, that was Cade Kennedy from East Duplin, getting ready to play in a big state championship game on Saturday. Great young man right there. Make sure you check him out. His Twitter is at Cade Kennedy 4. So make sure you go follow him, keep up with him. I think he's going to do some big things on and off the field, in his career. All right. So once again, I think I failed to mention this. This is the Pet Man's Player segment, Championship Edition, sponsored by VTO Sports. Make sure you check out VTOsports.com for all your off-season camp needs to help get you ready for big camps like the Winter Showcase, which I'll talk about a little bit later in tonight's show. But now we want to bring on another talented young man who's also playing for a state championship this weekend. His name is Jalen Roseborough, and he plays for the East Lincoln Mustangs, who are having another amazing season. So let's bring him on the show now.
Up,
How
man?
you doing, Jalen?
Good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, man. I was just watching some of your highlights, and the big thing that I love about you is you're fast. You are fast. How did track kind of prepare you for the successes you're having on the football field this year?
It really just helped with my speed and endurance. Really, I'm a part of an organization called the Charlotte Heat, which is a AU track club, and I participated in the Junior Olympics this year in June at North Carolina A&T, and my 4x4 team. We actually got third overall in that, so it just really helps with endurance and the practices that I'm at. Really helps with speed training and really helped me like getting that extra gear whenever I'm running down the field. So yeah.
Exactly. One of the things we always talk about, and to make yourself a better player, is running track. And I mean, you are a great example of, how that can, make you a better player on the field.
Thank you.
So obviously, East Lincoln has had a really, really special season, man. What are your general thoughts on the year, and what's one of the best memories you've had from this season so far?
Well, heading into the season, I knew that we were going to be, this year was going to be special. And, I really just love playing with my guys, and to see how far we come this year is crazy. I had no doubt in it, but, just to play in the state championship at NC State is just crazy in itself. But, yeah, it's really amazing. But I say one of my favorite memories would have to be, before we're going out the tunnel, when we're in the locker room, like we have these disco lights at the top of the ceiling, and then we play a bunch of music, and we all just like start dancing, all that, really just get the vibes up, get everyone happy, and ready to play. And it's really like our team chemistry is really, really good, and we all just love being around each other. We're really like a big family. So yeah.
So my question is, you got the disco lights.
Yeah.
Are y'all playing disco music with these lights?
Oh, no. We're playing some rap, playing some we're playing some Lil Baby, some Young Boy, some Uzi, Yeah. No, we get hype, we get lit before the game, man.
That's awesome, man. I'd love to see a video of that, man. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I got you.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It.
All right, so in general, how you play defense, you play corner, you play special teams. In your opinion, what are some of the strengths you have as a player on the football field?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, probably speed is one of my biggest strengths, and I like to get physical, and a lot of corners, sometimes corners lacking physical traits, as in wanting to go down and make the tackle and like not getting all the filth like the linebackers do. And I really think I have some mean traits when it comes to corner. Like I'm not afraid to get dirty or make the big tackle, make the big plays. So yeah, I think it all just comes down to toughness and grit and willing to put yourself on the line for your team and think something bigger than you just yourself.
Absolutely. And that's one of the big things that I loved about your film. You are not scared of contact. And
Thank
it
you,
is
man.
hard. It is hard to find a corner that is not scared of contact. When I used to coach, I used to design plays to get one on one with a corner. But
Yeah,
kudos to you, man. Yeah,
thank you, man.
you're a really impressive player.
Thank you. Thank
So my last question for you, just in general, any thoughts on how you feel going into a championship game? I know you mentioned playing at NC State and the
you.
feelings behind that, but any general thoughts about going into the Saturday's game?
I'm confident. I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I am a little anxious. It's Saturday and what's today? Wednesday. So I'm like really just trying to get through school, get through practice. Like I'm really excited to play with my friends and have my family and have all our supporters from Eastlink can come out and watch us hopefully beat Northern Nash. But yeah, I would say I'm really, really confident in my team and my peers, and I think that we can go out and win big and bring home those state rings, the state championship. So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, all the Charlotte metro area is pulling behind you because you guys are the only ones from the Charlotte area,
Yeah.
going up to the state championship game and representing. So,
Mm.
Jalen, we wish you the best of luck, man. I appreciate your time for coming on the show tonight with us, and hopefully we'll see you guys with them big rings real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. All right, so that was Jalen Roseboro from East Gaston. I'm sorry, East Lincoln. Good gracious. This was Pet Man's Players Championship Edition, sponsored by BTO Sports. Make sure you check out BTOsports.com for all of your off-season camping needs. All right, so let's transition. We're going to talk a little bit about the Queen City Senior Bowl. And we have a Queen City Senior Bowl player here with us tonight. I want to talk to him a little bit about his overall senior season and, the experience of being selected for the game and how he feels, about being a part of, what is more than a game. It's a charitable kind of situation that I'll get into in a little bit. And his name is Zarion Jackson Bass from Chambers, and we're going to bring him on the show with us right now.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
Zarion, man, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. It feels like it was yesterday, but 2 years ago you won the MVP at our first ever camp. And I told someone, I said, man, this dude is going to be big time. And now here you are as a senior, committed to Yale, and you had, 25 sacks this year? I mean, that is amazing, man. What are your general thoughts on your senior year?
I mean, I came into this year like just wanting to do great and do great things, and I just like the beginning of the season, like everybody was talking about my weight transitioning from last year, and this year I just it was gonna be my breakout year. Everybody wants your junior year or says your junior year should be the year that you like transcend, but like that year I transcended, but this year was a big year for me. So I felt like I needed to bring that dog out this year.
And you did. You definitely did, man. That was a big dog that you brought out the closet. Excuse me. So now let's talk about the Queen City Senior Bowl. You were, a pretty easy selection, for the committee. How do you feel about being selected, and how do you feel about what's about to start up next week?
I feel good about being selected. It's one of those things where like you like, especially me, like knowing you, we've like been together for about 3 years, 3 or 4 years, and like you've been watching me and following along with the process, and just looking at it and seeing like the results that come from working hard and being selected, like it just like makes me happy. Like it kind of gives me a little bit of validation.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And one of the things that um, I really, really appreciate about you. Like, and I think you mentioned about your weight and coming into the season, all the different things about that. You transformed yourself, into this, I will just say monster, because we saw the pictures from before and after posted before the season. I said, "Who is that man?" I said, "Good gracious, man, that's incredible." Um, Speaking of that, what are your thoughts on your season at Chambers? Obviously you guys had another good year, but of course to your standards, you guys went out a little earlier in the playoffs than normal. So how do you feel about how the season went overall for you guys at Chambers?
That's tough. I'm still, this year wasn't supposed to end as quickly as it did, and it still kind of hurts. This is the first year of my high school career. I don't know how long it's been since they've been to the playoffs, but it's the first year of my high school career. We didn't have practice on Thanksgiving, and everybody looks forward to practice on Thanksgiving. We signed the wall, and it was just a hard time. But overall, the season is just, especially that last game, you could say all the excuses. Everybody has their opinion on what happened, but I just know that we could have executed better, and that's just that. Like it came down to the wire, and then we needed that extra push, and that's what we didn't get.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. But still, an amazing year and
Yeah,
an amazing career, for a school that has been, putting so much talent out over the past couple of years, and you're just another one, in that line,
yes,
for
sir.
sure.
It's still a great.
My last question. Go ahead.
No, it was still a great season. All my teammates, and then like people like Jordan Thompson, TJ, like playing behind me, and then the offense, great guys on the offense. We still like we still a family, and we still bonded over it. So the guys going to college, it hurts for us, but we still rooting for our young guys.
Absolutely, man. Still a lot of talent, walking those hallways over there. My last question for you: what went into the commitment to Yale? I thought that was amazing, man. Why did you choose Yale, and what has you so excited about getting up there and getting on campus?
So my first offer came around, I can want to say in April. Kind of no, actually it came in March, right after my birthday, or on the day of my birthday, one or the other. And like that's when it first started rolling in, and then I got that offer from Yale spring break, and I wasn't even planning to go to Yale at first. So what happened was we went up north for Columbia and Lafayette. That's where we were going to visit, and then Yale came last minute, and it was asking if I could come visit. And then so we was already up there, so it was like, okay, we can make the drive to Yale and then see what it's about. They offered me on spot, and it was just like, they still, especially still new in the process. It was one of those offers where it was like, it had me smiling on the way back from the house. So I had to see what it was like again, and I was just like the way they treated me and like how it is up there, especially with the opportunities I could get from up there, and with Yale being one of the top schools, and especially with them winning the Ivy League championship this year, they still have that football aspect that I needed. And then they got a couple of guys in the league that are balling right now, like Foyer. I don't know how to say his name, but Alul Khan and then Rodney Thomas the third. They're some of the top defensive guys in the league right now. So I'm just like, it's just you can make it out the league. You can make it to the league out of there, and then even if you don't, you still got a great future ahead of you.
Absolutely. That was the last thing I was gonna say. It doesn't matter what happens on the field. And you graduate from Yale, man, you're gonna be set. So I'm really, really happy for you. You come from a great family, and obviously you're one of the best players in the metro area. but you got one more game in you before you move on. And we'll be excited to see you next week, man. I appreciate the time coming on tonight, and of course, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Zarion.
Sure.
All right, so that's Zarion Jackson Bass, one of the 80 players selected in the Queen City Senior Bowl. The Queen City Senior Bowl will be Saturday, December 17th at 12 p.m. at Olympic High School. You can get tickets online at queencityseniorbowl.com. And as I said earlier, this game it's an all-star game, but it's also a fundraiser for the Metro School. The Metro School, if you're not aware, is a school located right outside downtown Charlotte that educates and services kids that have different disabilities. So it's a great cause. They've been the partner. This is the fourth game they've been the partner for the Queen City Senior Bowl. And we really encourage everyone to come out because it really is a fundraiser. And it's kind of an all-star game. We pick coaches that we feel like have had really really special careers so far and have done great things this past season. But it's it's a the phrase "a party with a purpose." That's what I like to use when people ask me about the Queen City Senior Bowl. It's great to honor the coaches. It's great to honor the kids. It's great, to have the football going on. But when we go to the Metro School and we see the smiles on these kids' faces when they see the players, when they see the coaches, they do a big parade on Friday every year, the week of the game. It's the highlight. It's the highlight of the year, and it means a lot. And that's why I like to be involved as a partner in a great cause like the Queen City Senior Bowl and supporting the Metro School. So please, go to queencityseniorbowl.com, get your tickets, and help support. You can even if you can't come to the game, you can go to the website. You can make donations as well. Now I've got one of the family here. Mega producer.
How's it going? Didn't want you to struggle, man. So I was like, let me get in here, man. Let me get in here.
Man, I'm always struggling one way or another. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Seem like feel like it's been a while.
It has been a while, and you know why it's been a while? Because we don't hardly have any teams in the state championship.
I think you put the word hardly in there to soften the blow. We don't have any.
Well, East Lincoln is
well, yeah, that's true. I guess I was thinking
they're
actually in the Charlotte city limits we don't, but you're right. They're close enough. 704, it counts. They count.
Yeah. So man, this is a weird time. What was you said we haven't had a team since what year?
This is the first time since 1999. Last week in the semis, it was the first time since 1999 there wasn't a Charlotte team, at least in the semi round. So yeah, 20 plus years since it's happened.
You want to know you want to know how long ago that was?
I can. It's quite a while.
I graduated high school in 1999.
Yeah, me and you both were in high school back then, so that's quite a long time.
Man.
But it happens. You can't. Every street comes to an end at some point, but doesn't mean there's any lack of qualified teams. Just didn't happen that year. That's all. The talent hasn't dropped off or anything. Just how the cards fell.
Yeah, so that's what I want to touch on real quick. Is this a reflection of Charlotte area losing their grip as one of the dominant football areas of the state? Or is this just one of those little blips, that happens and then next year we'll be back to what we're used to and having Charlotte all over the place in the state championship picture?
I would call it a blip or a statistical anomaly, if you will, because, while yes, back then the talent wasn't quite as spread out, just off the top of my head in 99, Mallet Creek, Huff, Rocky River, schools didn't exist back then. Among Palisades, we got so many new schools. So yes, that spreads out the talent. The talent was a lot more condensed then, but at the same time, I mean, it's 20-something years. Like you say, it's bound to happen. So no, I don't think there's been any sort of drop off. I think while the talent is spread out a little bit more, I still think, some teams next year and beyond will still, rise to the top. There was a lot of good JV play, and those JVs now are just future varsity. So no, I just call it a little blip. Now, if we went 5 or 6 years without a Charlotte team in the finals, then that would mean something. But 1 year, the first time this century, no, I wouldn't look too much into it.
Yeah, I agree with you. The biggest thing I think I don't think it's Charlotte dropping off. I think it's the rest of the state, catching up and putting more resources into football. You're seeing the growth of 7-on-7 finally start to happen outside of the metro area. For a while, we used to talk about Raleigh a lot, and Raleigh was really good in the club sports. But people always used to say Raleigh, football was secondary up there. But now you see programs like Cardinal Gibbons coming up, and then some, Millbrook, had a great run. So football is really starting to gain in, popularity, and, people are really putting more into it across the state. So I think, of course, Greensboro and Brimsley, the great run that they're on, and they're playing for a title Friday night. So New Bern having a great year as well. Yeah, I think the rest of the state, you got to give some credit to them for doing an amazing job, the past couple of years. Joe, he's talking about East Lincoln being included in Queen City Senior Bowl nominations.
You put him in there.
We don't want to open that can of worms, Joe. That's a slippery slope because, I say this every year. It's all about, having the ability of people to get to practice in Mecklenburg County in 5 o'clock traffic because practice is 5:30 to 7:30. So, that's a long way to go, out when you get outside of the areas that we do include, which are Cleveland, Gaston, Union, Cabarrus, and of course Mecklenburg. So, yeah. Jason Bass has continuously kept trying to push this agenda for an all CFI team, and I don't know where you're getting this from.
I mean, you could choose a team without actually playing a game. In theory,
I mean, we could easily choose a team. I mean, there are players that I feel like have had great seasons, but. To be honest with you, I try to recognize those players either in the interviews or through Prep Red Zone, who I work for, through articles, and give them exposure. Now, I'll tell you right now, what's going to happen is the same thing that's happened, with the Queen City Senior Bowl is if we name a team, we're going to get people that come out and say, why is my son not on the team? What was the name criteria and all that stuff, which, for the Queen City Senior Bowl, I don't mind, explaining. But, we have to take some time to put, some thought into that. Joe was all for it.
Unfortunately, anytime you have anything in life where some people are picked and others aren't, someone's always going to feel someone is snubbed. It just comes with the territory. That goes beyond sports. Someone will always feel they should have been chosen. And, it's all subjective. If someone else was choosing, maybe they would have went a different direction. But it's just always going to be the case. I mean, there's never going to be unlimited spots. This is how I do it.
Yes, Joe, they will live. Yes.
Not life-threatening.
We'll talk about it. All right. So next thing I want to talk about, let's see here. I want to make sure I stay on schedule. That is the Winter Showcase, which is going to happen on Saturday over at Mallard Creek High School. Session 1 registration starts at 11. The camp will get started at 12 with offensive linemen, defensive linemen, running backs, and linebackers participating in Session 1 from 12 to about 2:30. We'll have a little break, and then session 2, we'll have the receivers, DBs, quarterbacks, tight ends. All those guys will get started around. I think we got it on schedule 2:45, and they'll go till about 4:45. So it's free to come out. You're more than welcome to come out and watch. Some great competition. Our ending numbers, we have 270 kids, and that's the absolute maximum we could have taken for this showcase, because we want to maintain the integrity of the showcase and make sure everyone gets the ample amount of reps they need to perform in front of over 40 colleges and universities. We are still getting colleges and universities that are reaching out to us saying that, hey, we're going to come. I think we were in conversations with Hampton to try to confirm them, and a couple other schools that wanted to kind of check their schedule, see which coaches they could get out there to have and be a part. But mega producer, why didn't we have this when we were playing?
Yeah, you could add that to a lot of things we didn't have. That would have been that would have been convenient. Get some off-season instruction. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think I will say there's a long list of positives and negatives that come from social media, and I think one of the positives, I feel like social media has helped camps and things like that, and just exposure in general. One of the positives that you can draw from that. So I think, when we were in high school, social media was pretty much in its infancy, and I think once it got rolling, that kind of helped the whole creation of the camp thing. I think that played a role and contributed to it. But yeah, it would have been nice. Definitely would have been nice. We used to have like school camps, like schools would do their camps, but just camps like this, not associated with a particular school. No, that would have been great, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember we went to the Nike did have a camp down in Atlanta at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility. We went down there, and it was like a mega camp. We had literally one chance to run the 40, one chance to do our bench press. It was just like a combine, and there was, I swear, like 600 or 700 people there, and no colleges were there. Nike was just doing it to get the stats to send out, the colleges and all that. So
metrics. That's all it was for.
Even yeah, yeah. So even now, you have rivals that still does those kind of things. But this is a rare opportunity to have so many colleges in one place, to where kids can go and literally talk to any college in attendance about what they need to do to play there. Are they being considered? And some of these kids will get offered. They will get offered Saturday, which is great. And that's why these coaches come out. That's why they're here. And this is so rare. The HBCU showcase that we did back in May had 31 schools there. And you saw it has generated over 50 offers. Kids are still getting offered from the HBCU showcase. As an example, Jawarn Howell, the star running back up in Mooresville, who's in the Queen City Senior Bowl, was just offered by Barton. Barton's head coach was at the HBCU showcase. Coaches come out to these things and they treat it two different ways. Some coaches will directly offer you on the spot. Some coaches will see you for the first time and get you on their radar. Then they go back, they take a look at their recruiting board, they'll look at your film, they'll talk to the position coach. Position coach will talk to the head coach, and then they'll see and decide if they want to give you an offer. Now, the big difference is we have this thing called the transfer portal. If you haven't noticed, the transfer portal is going crazy. This week, it just opened up where kids can officially put their names in there. The numbers are ridiculous. It is hurting, high school recruiting, for 2023s, and it'll hurt, 2024s as well. But the most important thing is, I think the lesson that high school kids need to realize is you have to be college ready to compete against these guys that are already playing college football. That means you got to expose yourself to these kind of camps. You got to work out relentlessly. You got to find a trainer, to supplement what you're doing with your high school team. And if you're serious about playing college football right now, by your senior year, you got to have your body ready and you got to have the right mentality. Okay. So Saturday, players, if you see this, this is a job interview. And I put this out in the email that was sent out yesterday. This is a job interview, and you have to come in with the right mindset and ready to dominate. It's rare in football that you have all the power to control your future. But what Saturday is, excuse me, is an opportunity to do just that. So, and that's the same speech I'll give on Saturday before we get started. They got to realize you don't have these opportunities to play in front of 40 coaches or 40 colleges, universities at one time. If we did, Brandon, we may not be sitting here right now. We may be, on an NFL sideline somewhere as a assistant, quality control coach or something.
That doesn't sound too bad.
You're right. Oh, you look at the pay. Look at the pay. It's not bad at all. But that being said, once again, it is free to come out and watch. We've had some people interested in wanting to make donations to the cause. You can just reach out to me if you're wanting to do something like that. Of course, these things cost money. Shirt cost is, in the thousands of dollars. Insurance, is $1,000 at least. Hydration, there are costs. There are costs for the facility. Over $1,500 to rent a field like Mallard Creek. And then there are several other costs involved as well, staff costs, all those different things. So if you do want to donate and help, the cause and, provide these opportunities to these kids, please do so. I know there were a lot of people that were upset because we did get sold out. And like I said, we do that to maintain the integrity of the showcase. In the spring, we will have another showcase, late spring, possibly early summer, depending on how the calendar falls. And I encourage you, once we open that up, please register when we open it up, because we have done this now on the big scene a couple times, and both times, it sells out. And we say it, in the beginning, but I think people just, don't believe it until they see it. These are incredible opportunities. I have to shout out the engine, Kenneth McClamrock, who's feeling under the weather. That's why he's not here. But I have to shout him out. He has done an amazing job in kind of aligning, these coaches with what we're doing, kind of being one of the primary, contacts along with myself in setting these up, the coaches up, and then he also, he may not be, he'll be mad at me when I reveal this, but he does the graphics. All the graphics the players get, he does those. So he's put in an extremely large amount of time into making, this showcase and the HBCU showcase what they are, and kind of taking what we started and help take it to another level. So I have to shout him out for his incredible work. Um, you know, and I'm glad that he's not coaching right now. So that being said, that's the Winter Showcase. We will have a lot of different things from the Winter Showcase. We'll have media there taking video. There will be people there taking pictures. So there'll be a lot more to come from the Winter Showcase, just like you saw with the HBCU Showcase. So really, really exciting stuff. And I want to thank Mallard Creek for being great hosts once again. All right, so let's kind of transition from that, and let's talk about some open coaching jobs, because already it's early December, and we have seen area schools post that they're looking for head coaches. Of course, one me and mega producer know pretty well in Harding Rams. Harding Rams looking for a new head football coach. I feel like Coach Caldwell, did a good job this past year. Harding had 3 wins. Defeating Berry, Palisades, and and Garinger this year. So when you look at Harding, what are your general thoughts, on where the school is right now, Meg Producer?
Trending upward. They got a good, nucleus. They got a lot of young players that are in key roles. A lot of guys coming back. So Obviously 3 wins is not where you want to be. It's you're not gonna set the bar there, but they're trending upward. A lot of building support and a lot of I call it resurging support from the community and alums and things like that. So I think they're in a good spot. Got a lot of guys coming back in key roles, which is always good, and they just need that sustained leader. That's what they need. A guy that's gonna, get a good system in place and get an operation kind of like a factory running. A good JV, a good varsity. They need somebody that's gonna be there. 5+ years, 5 to 10 years, long term. This gets in there, gets comfortable, and just starts building. So that's what they need.
My good friend Nikisha Ricks decides to pose this question. I am not. I'm not taking the job. I have too many things going on as it is, and adding a head football coach to that would be it would probably just knock me out. So
Be interesting to see.
I'm not interested in that.
But I understand.
What's that?
I said it'd be interesting to see you try to do that. Add that in. That would be pretty amazing if you're able to pull that off.
No, it's not going to be me. I'm sure there are some great candidates that have put their information in for consideration. So I'm excited. I think the program, Joe, that's a good comment. I think the program, is, trending, like you said, in the right direction. I will tell you, I am the Booster Club president over there, so I am involved, with the school. I feel like, it was tough when we lost Dr. Ward, not too long ago. But Principal Starnes has come in, and there's a good energy, around the school. The athletic director, Oscar Walker, is a really, really good guy. We've really, worked well together. And they have some exciting plans. They have some exciting plans for Harding, and some of those things, if you're around the school, you'll see some of those things starting to happen. And we're hoping the athletic facilities. There's some things happening that I can't really talk about, but if they come to fruition, there'll be some really good news. Hopefully in the near future for Harding and its athletic facilities. So, and I believe there are some people in the right place that want to do the right thing. So, but it's all a process. All right, so another open position is West Cabarrus. West Cabarrus High School is looking for a new head football coach. You mentioned facilities. Baker Producer, we were there. We've been to West Cabarrus, I think a couple times.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing facilities, right?
Very, very new, right? It's only been open. Usually, you expect that the school's new. You expect the facilities to be up to par, and they got. I mean, it's only a few years old, right? School, so yeah, we went out there a couple camps, a couple days, so they got everything you need. So whatever candidate does go out there, he will not have to worry about facilities. That part is covered.
Absolutely. They play in a competitive league, the Greater Metro Conference, which we, obviously talk about. Boysville won that conference this past year, but we saw a lot of playoff teams, from that conference. I believe it was I think it was 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7 teams made the playoffs, which is crazy. So, obviously you're going to have to do some work and, compete in a tough league. But, like as we said, the facilities are there. I think there's a new athletic director that's going to be coming into the fold there as well. So it's kind of good to have, a new athletic director dealing with a new head coach and you kind of growing things together. So, I think it's a pretty good setup to be successful, in the near future at West Cabarrus. Another head coaching position that is open currently is North Stanley. We've had the North Stanley athletic director on the show, George Walker, very good guy. North Stanley, they have talent. You think about DJ Watkins, big defensive tackle. He was an MVP at one of our showcases last December. He's had, some offers to play football on the next level. There's a couple other kids. Jay Jackson, who's in our showcase this Saturday, a really good linebacker. So this is a school that has some talent, and you get in there, you may have the chance to win, pretty quickly. So I think they playing at a combo 1A, 2A league. So there's a chance to really be competitive right off the gate. J.M. Robinson used to be in that league, has been moved up to 3A with the realignment, and they were the conference champions. So there's a chance to really make some noise there in your first year. So and it's not in an area where you have to deal with a lot of traffic in North Stanley. I think the housing prices are a little more affordable there, so if you don't mind staying outside of the city, that may be a good option for you. And then our last school we want to talk about is Lake Norman Charter, who just announced a couple of days ago that they are looking for a new head coach, and they're going to be in a 3A school bracket. Now, one of the things that's interesting is they play an independent schedule. So because they choose to play an independent schedule, they don't qualify for the state playoffs. So one of the things that I would, ask, if I was interested in that job is that something that's going to change, because let's say you're playing an independent schedule and you have a 9-1 season and you got a great team, but then your season ends. Wouldn't you want to go to the playoffs and see what you could do, if you build something like that?
That's just like playing 10 exhibition games at that point. You want to be able to – I would inquire about that too, like you say, because it's hard to sell a kid on, hey, we could be undefeated, but no championship, So, yeah, I think that would be a legitimate inquiry there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, Lake Norman's a beautiful area. Beautiful area, my goodness. And then, coaching for a charter school, there are some things that, if versus the public school that you don't have to necessarily deal with. So there are some positives there, definitely, around the situation. But on the flip side of that, you want to ask, those kind of questions. And if you don't mind, if they have good answers, then, it may be something that, you want to explore a little further, for sure. All right, so we got 2 minutes before we hit the slime. Couple of comments here. Joe Hughes, I was talking about not coaching at Harding. Well, I've got to get married first. But then, yes, I would be trying to stay married because head coaching is a huge time commitment. And that's why we do this, man. That's why we try to highlight, coaches and interview them and enhance their programs by, bringing the kids on and, talking about them because they do a lot. They do a lot, man. They really do. Jason Bass, shout out to the producer. Talking about the CFI team. Producer
very much
always right.
I very much agree with that statement. So, yeah. Appreciate it, Mr. Bass. Yeah. Thank you.
He's been right most of the time. Not all the time. Most of the time.
Hey, I had a winning record on the picks. I'll take it. All season.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I gotta find out who won those. That's crazy. I forgot about that. I don't know. All right, Megan producer, we'll call you the champion. Okay.
A discretionary champion. Yep, give me my Olive Garden gift card.
No, the CFI gas card. Remember from 2 years ago, we needed that to go to South Carolina.
I remember that. We did shoot down there.
Oh, God almighty, COVID times, boy. All right. Well, since Kenneth is not here, I guess I have to do the intro. It is slime time, baby. And when we start slime time, I'm going to go to the one guy that's here with me, the mega producer. Who are you sliming tonight?
I'm going to slime the entire Saints organization. The team, the coaching staff, the janitors, the dudes that sell hot dogs in the stadium, all of them for having a double-digit lead with like 5 minutes left in the game and letting Tom Brady, of all people, come back and get the win. I mean, you just put another notch on his belt. As Dennis Green would say, you let them off the hook. They are who you thought they were, and you still let them come back. I mean, come on, man. Like, you had the game locked up. All you had to do was close. And as he would say, you let them off the hook. Some slime in the Saints.
You know, I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. And yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating because even at 4-8, the Panthers have playoff hopes.
Right.
and that messed up our playoff hopes. And now we probably got to go 4-1 to have a chance here. So that's a good slime. My slime, I had a lot of slime built up because we hadn't been on in 3 weeks. My slime bucket was overflowing. So I had to kind of move the slime around to find the slime that I really wanted to get. And the slime I want to talk about is all these people hating on Deion Sanders. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. This man is what? He's timing his salary by 5, going from Jackson State to Colorado. What in what industry would we, be upset about somebody doing that to their salary? And he's doing it for his assistant coaches too. The pay for assistants at HBCUs is not that great. We know Coach Lucky. Coach Lucky coaches at HBCU. We could get him on here, and I'm sure he would be glad to talk about it. I mean, there's levels to this thing. He donated half his salary to improve the facilities at Jackson State. I mean, how much more does someone have to give and sacrifice before they, can go and, help themselves? So I've seen all the comments and everything, and it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Yeah, so that's my slime on. We gotta stop talking about Deion Sanders, and just to say this, as a black man, this is the problem. This is why we always, as black people, have problems and issues because we spend all this time hating on each other, and we don't come together and we don't congratulate when someone does, special things out here, man. It's crazy. And Nikisha, I agree. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, I've been saying it all week that, a person can feel how they want, but I doubt there's very few people out there, including probably anyone on this show, that would turn down an opportunity to multiply their salary 5 to 7 times for doing the same job. Very few people. And I think we got to highlight the positive he did. He brought a lot of eyes and attention to HBCU football. And obviously that's something, that I care a lot about, being an HBCU alum. So that resonated with me quite a bit. And he's brought eyes and attention. He took down some, was working on taking down some barriers. Did a lot for kids there. Like you say, literally deferred part of his salary. There's not many people. I very rarely hear about anyone doing that. So, he did quite a bit for Jackson State, and he's leaving Jackson State in a better position than when he got there. I think that's the best part to look at it. Now, whether they can uphold and maintain that success, I mean, only time will tell. It depends on who takes over. Depends on what kind of staffs, what players stay, regardless. There's a lot to be seen, but they are better off. Brought a lot of money into the school. They're better off than when he left. Than when he got there. So that's how I got to look at it. So person has to do what's best for them. We always preach that. Just like we tell the kids, choose the school that's best for you. Don't choose the school based on where your parents want to go, where your coach says you should go. You do what's best for you, and Deion's doing what's best for him. And that's all we can tell anybody to do.
Absolutely. Nikisha with the last word here before we end the show. Deion made all media outlets look at HBCU players and got them endorsements. Also got them on ABC. Got them in the Celebration Bowl. They're playing Central on the 17th. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy to me. And Nikisha with one slime here, sliming the Commanders. Yeah, they had a tie against the New York Giants, and ties like kissing your sister is the old saying. So.
Oh man.
So Washington gets some deserved slime on them as well. All right. So for the Make Producer, I'm the Pet Man Matt Morrow. If you're coming out to the showcase on Saturday, make sure you stop by, say hello. Would love to see you and chat with you for a little bit, but you can't come on the field. No one on the field allowed, so catch us in the stands. All right. See everybody next time on Football Focus Weekly. Might be a little while before we do the next show. We got Queen City Senior Bowl next week, so there'll be no show next week. After that, we're running into Christmas, so we'll make an announcement on when the next show is, but we will have content coming out there real soon. So, oh wait a minute, we got a late slime. Slime just got in right before I shut the door. My slime goes to the official with that bad call in the Weddington game. Oh well, Terrell. I thought about going there, but there's so many things going on right now with the officials and high school football, and there was the news where they got the 10% raise, and there's been so many calls this past season, and that's something we're gonna talk about in the off season, for sure. But yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah. All right, so good slime there from Terrell. We appreciate everybody that watched tonight. A little bit of new format, a little change. We're gonna try and kind of speed things up a little bit and keep them moving. There's Washington Commanders talk going on in the chat, so if you want to join them, go right ahead. But on the behalf of the mega producer, I am the Pet Man Matt Morrow. See you guys next time on Football Focus Weekly from CFI, Charlotte Football Insight.